Is it possible to cheat death? Can we be brought back to life months, even years after dying? Well, there are scientists who are betting on the fact that one day death won't be permanent. And some people are taking the biggest gamble of their lives. They're being frozen and mummified in a quest for immortality. In January 1985, a severe blizzard hit Milwaukee, Wisconsin. At the height of the storm, 2-year-old Michael Track wandered outside his home. Within minutes, he was frozen solid, but miraculously, he was brought back to life.
He was, without any question, dead at the scene, and he was dead for a period of time here as well. But knowing that, because of how cold he was, knowing that you're not dead until you're warm and dead, we knew that we had to give him the chance that he deserved.
Michael's complete recovery astonished his doctors, and he is now living proof that a frozen human was indeed brought back to life. It's an exciting possibility for science. The resuscitation of a frozen person has inspired some scientists to try to take the process one step further. Cryonics is the extremely controversial science of freezing a person's body, or just the head, immediately after medical death. The hope is that someday they can be unfrozen and brought back to life.
Cryonics is an experimental process, and it's experimental because we don't know what the ultimate outcome is going to be. We have a different opinion about where you draw the line between life and death. I don't think you can get dead people back to life. That's impossible. They're dead. How could you? I don't think that these people necessarily are dead.
Once a cryonics patient is declared legally dead, the body is connected to life support systems. Cryoprotective drugs are administered to minimize damage from the freezing process. It takes 3 to 5 days to gradually freeze a body.
And what you're seeing is the inside of a cryogenic dewar. And those are aluminum pods down there which contain our patients. The patient is inside the pod wrapped in a sleeping bag. Right now there's only 2 ways of putting people into cryonic suspension. Either their whole bodies can be suspended like these people down here. Some people choose only to have their brains put into cryonic suspension. Right now, our methods of suspension are so crude, none of these people will be recovered unless we can fix them one cell at a time. If you can do that, then it's a very small little bit extra to ask that you take any one of the millions of cells that has the entire DNA, which is a blueprint for your entire body, and just grow a new one around the existing brain.
Is cryonics science or science fiction? To date, 3 companies worldwide have frozen 40 people from all walks of life, and 600 more have signed up. But the medical community is universal in its condemnation of the process.
I think it's misleading to people. I think that it's giving some false hopes, again, at least at this point.
It's a rational gamble, because what they're doing is committing a relatively small amount of resources to the problem. And it's a personal issue. How much is your life worth gambling on? I mean, if this pays off and you end up with an indefinite lifespan in a world filled with all kinds of possibilities we can hardly imagine now, what's it worth to you?
Bring me back. I don't care how. Bring me back into the future. I want to be there. I want to witness this. I want to be able to get out of this freezing suspension or whatever they put me into to get me back. I want to be able to stand there and say, Bill, you made it. You're really here in the future. The most important thing is that if they can do that, if it really can be done, I'm looking at immortality.
You don't ever have to die. You're not dead when you come out of the tank. You're not coming back from the dead. You're simply been put in suspension, waiting for science to catch up with us, is basically all we're doing.
I don't want to go out with a bang. I don't want to go out with a whimper. I want to go out with a strategy. In case of death, see reverse for biostasis protocol. Push 50,000 U heparin IV and do CPR while cooling with ice to 10 Celsius.
Those who wish to be frozen upon death wear special identification tags, which give explicit instructions about how to freeze the body and who to contact.
Well, let's say it doesn't work, okay? So you lose some money, you lose your life, you're frozen, that's that. But if it does work, well, then you get to live and everybody rots in the ground except you.
Clearly, there's no guarantees. It's your only shot.
Is immortality really within our grasp? While cryonicists seek answers through futuristic high technology, others trying to cheat death are looking to the past, to an ancient Egyptian process called mummification.
In permanent body preservation or mummification, the cells are perfectly preserved. Possibly, science may sometime in the future be able to duplicate that genetic message, reduplicate a body.
Mummification is the only process that is a permanent process of preservation. The mummification process, the first step is basically to remove the organs from the body which has been embalmed. Then everything is placed in the vat with the body and it is soaked. This is the preservative, the active preservative. All the organs are coated with polyurethane. The cavity has been coated with polyurethane. Everything is returned to the body, and then the body is closed. A lot of people really feel basically that they don't want the body to go through what is referred to as the corruption, the decomposition of the body. They want the body to stay intact.
Mummification and cryonics raise profound questions about what might happen to these bodies in the future. Will we ever reach a point where these preserved bodies can live again? Or is reanimating a corpse just another horror movie plot? Some scientists believe it is the new reality of future generations.